Hey guys, welcome to the recap of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Thailand. This is episode 2, The Elephants in the Room. This episode, it had its high, it had its low, and I didn't know how to feel about it. I definitely would rate it above a 7, but it was doing what it needed to do to keep me engaged. So I do want to start off this recap starting off over day 2 in Thailand, okay? And can I say the views and the ambiance was giving? Oh my gosh, I have to make a trip to Thailand. I need to see this for myself. And of course, I would want to have Pepsi. Pepsi is such a great host, doing the most. Oh my gosh. He wants this girls' trip to be so memorable for the girls, and you can see how he is having a grand time with the ladies with his grand personality. I love Pepsi as a host. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend. So today is Leah's day, and she is in control of today's events. So today's events will be at the Green Elephant Sanctuary, and her goal is for the girls to become more calm and more chill instead of, all this drama and cattiness. But who wants that? I want the cattiness. I want the fun. So let's see what it's gonna give. So Marisol, she's leaning on her drinking personality. I mean, girl, I want to see something else from Marisol, but I understand the role of Marisol. So, she leans in on her drinking and the amount she is drinking, but we see a little flashback of people preparing her to go on this trip, and their advice for Marisol is to not drink too much. And I can just remember the letter from Dear Marisol's liver, proclaiming the abuse that her liver has undergone. Like, can you not? Like, come on. So, of course, Marisol, she's leaning on her drinking personality. So, Leah is apparently going through PMS, and she's going to have all the other girls suffer through her PMS this whole trip. So, she lets all the girls know that she's on edge, and she gives them a warning. And all I can think of is, Heather, please be careful. I know Heather, she does not give a damn. So we already got to know that Heather, she's going to, agitate Leah. But I don't know. Leah's a little bit annoying. I mean, Pepsi, he knew it from the jump. Like, this girl was doing too much. But out of all the girls, I feel like Leah, not one of my favorites, because how she feels like maybe this whole situation, her PMSing, is what's making her give off this energy. But I just can only remember her in her season, her not really being an enjoyable cast member to watch. So in the evening, I was so happy to learn that the girls are going to go to a lady boy dinner. And I am so excited and here for that. Thank you, Candace. Because I thought we just getting a little cute retreat. But no, I want to see the lady boy dinner. What's that going to give? So Portia, she comes in for breakfast. And Candace mentioned how Portia took Monique's side in that whole situation of the fight that ensued in Potomac. And in the confessionals, she had she understood that, okay, Portia is going to be on Monique's side, meaning that, she's not going to feel for Candace. So Candace sensed that Portia may have maybe some problems with her, especially after last night when we saw a little cattiness there. But looking at Portia and her confessional, Portia is not bothered at all about the situation. She was like, what is the commotion about even? So we will have to see and keep our eyes on this situation. But I don't know, after watching this episode, I'm like, Candace, you kind of like a little chihuahua barking at Portia, and you want a response. But when you get the response, once you want to cry about it. Like, girl, you're doing too much. And Portia, she's all about bringing peace in Thailand, okay? So the girls are en route to the elephant sanctuary. And, you know, the girls, they're talking about DNA. Because this was after paying homage after passing Kamala Harris district. And Portia, she opens up saying that she's part Nigerian and she kind of wishes that she kept her original boobs because then she could be a part of her people, you know. But that explains why her booty's so big. It's giving Nigerian, okay? So after her taking her DNA test, she found out she was Nigerian. And the cousins, Whitney and Heather, that's how they found out that they were related through a DNA test results. And they pretty much said how their ancestry matches up. Like their cousins, mother, aunts, and blah, blah, blah. They're cousins, okay? At the end of the day, they're cousins. So in the other bus, Leah, she mentions Alexia and engages with Alexia how she has been watching Miami. She's a fan. And she is like impressed how Alexia is so open, more open than the other girls and giving her props. And Alexia, she ate that up. She's like, she loves a compliment. You give Alexia a compliment, you know the little star gonna take a compliment. But you know, Leah, she's a little sneaky. She brought up how Alexia it was kind of cool how Alexia was open in meeting her ex-husband lover. And Alexia said she would have only done that with him because it was a man. She would never do that if it was a woman. And Leah, she dug in for more tea and asked about the situation, like if he was bisexual, like what's the information on that. And Alexia says, yeah, he was, because he was still interested in her, but he had this other life going on. And Leah, she digs in more. I'm like, dang, Leah, you just met Alexia. And you asking for all her information, all her business. And so she asks Alexia about the rumor of her husband dying in a sex act. And Alexia, of course, she said that's not true. And that was actually a rumor brought up by Adriana, which was inappropriate. And, you know, Alexia, she shared in her confessional that the reason Adriana did this was to secure a spot on the show, which she did. Okay, so, I know how Alexia feels when they bring up that rumor. I'm pretty sure she's annoyed. Like, didn't you say you watched the season? So if you watched the season, you would have known this already, Leah. So, girl, bye. So, we're at the sanctuary. And this sanctuary is pretty much where elephants who were previously abused and were used for riding, they now have a safe space where they just get to relax. So the girls are here and they're going to feed them sugarcane, you know, bond with the elephants. But, you know, there's some rules that they got to follow, which makes them kind of nervous. So it was hilarious to watch these girls feed the elephants. But the noise that was coming out of Giselle was giving too much. Ah, my gosh. And, you know, Candace, of course, Shade Assassin in her confessionals said, oh, no wonder Giselle is single. Because if these are the kind of noises that she makes in bed, no wonder she's single. And, you know, the girls, they're in the environment, but the funk was so strong. The stink was too heavy. But now they had to go do a mud bath with the elephants. That's a whole part of the experience. So Porsha and Candace are being playful. And I'm like, I'm like waiting. Like, I feel like we're just waiting when the shoe's gonna land on the other foot, if that's how the saying goes. I'm just waiting for when things about to pop off, okay? Because Porsha, you know, she said she's here for fun, but I don't know. Let's see. Because Candace, she knows how to step on those toes and activate people. So they're being playful. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe they can be friends, but we're going to keep our eye out on that situation. I feel like we've been observing that situation a little bit much now. So I feel like it's like a foreshadow to where the pop-off is going to happen. But, you know, Portia's here for fun. She throws mud at Giselle. And Giselle's upset, like, who threw that? And Portia just plays dumb. And it's just so funny, you know, how she plays dumb like that. Because she was just here for fun. And it was over once the elephant pooped in the mud, in the water. And the girls were out. They were like, we're done. And I would have been done too as well. So the girls, they head over for lunch. And, you know, Portia Portia is a fun girl on a trip. Like, her mouth on that bottle, I'm like, girl, this girl's here for the fun, and I'm enjoying that because I want fun for this trip, y'all. So the girls play a little game, and they asked if they would trade, if they had to choose between the two, would it be food versus sex? What would they choose? And Portia's like, forget the sex, forget the pina. What would? She's here to get food and to be fed, okay? So I thought that was cute little girl chat. And Leah's happy with this conversation because she was saying in her franchise, the girls are a bit prudish and they could never play a game like this. And then so she says, okay, I want to, have put in my question for the girls to engage with. And honestly, the question she gave was a little bit boring. I was like, okay. She asked, what is the best thing and the worst thing about being a housewife on your show? And Candace, she answers first. She says, it's an honor to be a second all-black cast, but the worst is the social media. And I'm like, girl, even Giselle's like, girl, you bring this on yourself. See, the one thing I can appreciate with Giselle is that at least what she got to say in the confessionals, she will say it to Candace's face. Because I felt like Candace, I'm getting too many moments where she's saying all the spiciness. She's saving all the spiciness for the confessionals, but she's not delivering that in that moment. And I need that. I need that from you, Candace. Come on. Clear her out. Heather, she says the best part is every single thing. She likes to escape from this. This is like a whole new exciting part of her life. And I'm sure it is to get out of the routine of a daily housewife, taking care of your kids, and you're being with your husband, being with your partner and whatnot. This is fun to be with girls because most of these girls, this is the first time they'll go on a girls trip because in their real life, they don't normally do that. So I can see the whole fantasy of it all. For Alexia, it was the resurgence of Miami. She was letting the girls who can come back after 8 years of hiatus. But Heather is not impressed. Heather, she's a thug in these confessionals. Sometimes, she opens up and let these girls know. But in these confessionals, girl, I don't think they want to be your friend after seeing the confessionals. Okay. For Whitney says it was about the growth and personal development, but it has been a painful process. So it's good and bad for her. For Portia, she really, really drives in on this sisterhood that she has received from being on the franchise, for being on the Real Housewives. Especially for her, after she gave birth, she was going through postpartum depression. And of course, the cameras were there to capture it all. But, at this moment, she was starting to get emotional because she's like reliving, going through the memories of it. And, she revealed that she had like a lot of support, not only from her castmates, but from producers. And that really helped push her back up and to be able to thrive in the Real Housewives situation. Now for Marisol, she actually, and I thought it was so sweet for Marisol. Marisol, she loved how her mom loved the camera. At first, initially, she was afraid for her mom to be filmed because she didn't want anyone to make fun of how her mom looked because of her face after undergoing a lot of filler. What her mother wanted to do was to get a facelift, but she couldn't go under anesthesia. She did a lot of fillers, which kind of obscured her face because she used to shoot. Her throwback picture, she was sickening. She was giving Sophia Loren. I really saw that. I'm like, when she said Sophia Loren and she showed the throwback, then I got it. But I love how us as viewers, we see our fabulous golden girl, Miss Marisol's mama. So Elsa. So I really love that we got to experience Elsa, and she was happy for her mom to be able to have this experience. And I can't imagine, like, come on, a glamour girl like her? Yes, ma'am. So when it got to Leah, she got really emotional, and she opened up and said that after um, the loss of her grandmother, that whole situation, the way it went down, she hated that, hated it. Her grandmother was in the process of dying, but she had to film at Ramona's, and no one said for her to go. Not even the castmate, not even a producer. When she said that, I thought it was a little bit odd. I didn't want to say it, but the ladies, they said it. They said, no way can no one keep them from their family. Even Giselle, she's like, you got to take ownership of what you do and not put it on a producer. Even Whitney says that they have the same production company, Utah, Salt Lake City, and New York. And she said there's no way a producer would not have been more than understanding towards her situation. So when Leah did decide to leave, Leah, this was her breakout. Like, this is her first time being on the franchise. So maybe she felt like she was obligated to stay. She's just getting to know these girls. But, when Leah decided to leave and was on her way to her grandmother, she received a text from her mom saying that she already had died. And it was the worst, especially when it aired, because the audience felt like she should have been there. So I could understand the guilt of it all. And I feel like she's still going through the process of grieving through it, because she's super, 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 super emotional about it. But the girls, at that moment, they gave her support, as they should, right or wrong, they gave her support. So after that moment, the girls are leaving, and you see Porsha and Candace, they still like really bonding and kikiing with each other. So the girls are back on the bus, and Candace opens up about her husband, because, Candace, she was initially going to say something about it, but she wasn't ready to talk about it, but she felt more comfortable back on the bus. So Candace, she opens up about her husband and how the stress of the restaurant is pretty much putting a lot of stress on their marriage, to the point where the word of divorce has came up. And, I would have never thought that, because after watching the season of Potomac that just finished, those two, they come off as solid. They come off supporting. Like, she is ready to defend and fight for her man, and he's ready to defend his wife. So I feel like it's just a lot of internal issues that they're still, balancing out, like with the new work schedule, especially if they're planning to have kids on top of that. So it's completely understandable why they're going through a rough patch. And I just kind of wish in this situation, I felt like maybe we shouldn't have learned about this, but I appreciate her openness, because others can learn from her, but I would have never thought. So on the other bus, we learned something I didn't know about Marisol. Marisol says she actually wanted kids, but she learned that she had a birth defect in her a defect in her uterus, which will make her incapable of having kids. So I would have never known that. I thought she always wanted to live, kind of that life, as a bachelorette, having fun, partying. But wow, I'm so appreciative of learning these things about our girls. So the girls are back home in the villa, and the girls got to get ready this evening. And all Portia wants, and I can relate to her in this moment, she wants Pepsi to get her KFC. And Pepsi is like, I am on it. And I'm like, yes. My stomach right now is grumbling. I'm like thinking about, oof, 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 oof. So Heather, we have a moment with Heather and Whitney. And Heather sewing in Whitney's hair is a moment. These two cousins, they try to go at it, saying how they have these issues that they got to work on, but they need to get it together. They talk about that the friendship that was broken and how they're hurt. And I'm like, this friendship break needs to end. I don't know much about their franchise, but whatever it is, when a girl is out here helping you sew in your hair to get you ready for dinner, that girl is your friend, okay? And they need to work it out. Just work it out. So Pepsi, oh my God, this is why Pepsi is the hostess doing the mostest. That's why you get a 10 out of 10. Pepsi come through with the chicken. And the girls, they're getting ready and they're having their food. Before the food is a whole moment. I loved it. It was funny later that the other girls found out, oh, Portia, did Pepsi come through with the chicken? And he was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, of course. And they were like, why we didn't get any? Why couldn't we get some? And she thought, oh, I thought Pepsi came and brought it to your room. And I thought that was so hilarious little moment. So the girls are en route to dinner and to see the lady boys. So they get to dinner. They're waiting at the waiting area. And Candace says that the girls are getting lady boy names for the evening. So, of course, I feel like Candace, she is so good at naming. So Candace starts off first. So Candace is Petty La Belle. But Garcelle is like, girl, you should have been given the name Crybaby Candace. And Giselle, since you know, from her season, we can never see what relationship she's in. Giselle gets the name She Need a Man. But really, Candace wanted to name her I Need a Stylist. And I thought I Need a Stylist was a hit. I feel like we need to do justice for I Need a Stylist, okay? Oh my God, Candace, you're so clever. Alexia, I love it. Alexia, I don't know if these girls know the reference of their names, but it's giving. Alexia is Havana White. She loves it, but I don't know if she understands why to love it. Marisol is Crystal Ball. Lucia Ball. Havana White is Vanna White. Come on, these names. And Heather and Whitney gets no right and no wrong. Leah, since she's converting in her religious journey, she's Judaism. And I felt like it was giving. These names were giving. For Portia, when she got to Portia, I'm like, okay, this is what's going to let us know if Candace wanted a little bit of rah-rah, okay? So Portia's name is She Take a Man. And I'm like, She Take a Man? Dang. So Candace is really focusing on a rumor of how Portia got with Simon. I'm like, dang. I'm like, okay, Candace, you really picking on Portia. You really want that Portia smoke. So, I like, let me tell you. So I like Giselle's confessional look. When she was in that confessional with Portia, I'm like, Giselle looks good here. I really wish she gave the same budget in her confessional look on her vacation look. Because this vacation look, the hair, I'm sorry. She should have stuck with the way her hair was instead of putting that ugly wig. I hated that wig. I hated it. Oh my God. It was not giving. Okay. So, Leah, she's like in her moment and she's like making this whole discussion about like how on dating websites they should have a size warning for the guys for down there. And she's making that a big deal. I'm like, okay, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So off to seating, and all the girls gotta sit in their spots with their new names. And Candace, she opens up about her marriage and how the show makes the marriage relationship a little bit difficult, and she opens it up in for discussion. So pretty much, Giselle, she says that any bad behavior will be scrutinized. And Giselle really emphasizes that and throws his shade on Michael Darby. But it's so ironic given the Robin situation with Juan. And it's like, dang, that is so interesting. I think this was filmed before that drop. But, ooh. Sometimes your words come back to haunt you, okay? So Candace, she actually wants Miss Portia, her new friend, which she knows that she don't know if she's getting along with, to talk about her situation. But Portia did a reverse Uno to allow for Candace to talk about the Simon situation. So, this whole situation is about like Portia stealing Fallon's man. And, Portia gives her side after, Candace did her speech about, Portia stealing Fallon's man. So Portia, her side is that she actually already knew Simon before filming. She didn't know Fallon too much, but Fallon was coming onto the show, so she had to agree to film with her. And Simon's previous wife, Fallon, she actually cheated on him, and they broke up. So there was a separation of it all. And, Portia was being a good friend and asking friend, how you doing, friend? And, Simon said that, I'm in the area. You should come. We should go out sometime. And Portia is like, if we're going to do anything together, I need to see signed papers for divorce. So he was able to deliver that, and they were all in the process in the court for it to be completed and be done with it. So that was the story. And the girls are like, look at the ring that Portia got. I would take a man too. Alexia agrees. Whitney agrees. Heather agrees. They're like, look at the ring that she got. They would have taken the man too. I'm like, ooh, you guys, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I want that smoke. But, Portia, she really understood that, people who followed her journey were upset about the whole situation. But, they didn't know the full details and the timing of things and who knew who at what time, okay? So, okay, if that's your story, you got to stick with it. So, Alexia, she talks about how she feels like she would walk away from the show if it was compromising her marriage. And she actually had that talk with her man, Todd Napola, okay? She, this is her third marriage, and she really loves that man. She want to stick beside that man. So she said if it came to it, she would give up the show. So in her, talking about her thoughts about the situation, of that question, Giselle brings up about her gay husband. And she opens up, and of course, Alexia, she's going to share. You got to let her speak. But Leah is like, I'm bored. And I'm like, Leah, seriously? And she's like, she's bored because this is old tea. But not her being the one bringing it up in the first place when we're on the bus ride to Alexia, and you giving Alexia props to her, saying, this is OT, this is boring, saying, Alexia's on a loop. I mean, this is an interesting story. I feel like even though you can hear the same story again, there may be some information, some tea that she opens up even more as much as she talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like Leah was so rude. And Alexia, she threw a little shot back that, is it better talking about teeny weenies? Is that more interesting? And I'm like, yes. And, Leah's trying to say, I'm not saying it's bored. But Marisol, she stands up for her bestie. And she says, oh, no, you were saying it was boring. This is an interesting story. And, Leah does not appreciate Marisol trying to create a problem with her and Alexia. So Leah shades Marisol's drinking. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, not you coming for Marisol's drinking. Oh, no. So that's where the episode stops there. And I'm like, I'm ready for the next episode. I have that available, but we will be recapping. So give me some time, give me some break. But if you like this recap, let me know. Like it, share it, and subscribe. Guys, come on. So I look forward to recapping the next episode. So it will be uploaded shortly. And of course, we'll get into routine too, so we have everything up to date. So guys, take care. And as always, share as much kindness as possible. Love you. Bye.